Welcome in today's lesson. So today's lesson I will be sharing with you 4 English mistakes RwandansMake make and why actually your brain causes these mistakes. Why do you make them? If you are Rwandan and you struggle to speak English correctly, this is lesson that is going to open your eyes and see why those mistakes happen more often and how you can correct them and be able to speak English fluently, confidently, like native speaker. Most Rwandans do not fail English because they are lazy or not intelligent. They fail just because their brain is using Rwanda to produce English sentences. So your brain always uses the language that you learned the first as a base. That language is Kinyarwanda for Rwandans. So when you want to speak English, your brain first creates the sentence in Kinyarwanda, then it translates it into English. This happens automatically even if you don't notice it. So this psychology of the mistake, it is really the reality. That's a reality. That's the truth about why you make those mistakes. Let us look at 4 very common mistakes, and these mistakes will help you understand exactly where they come from and how to fix them permanently. We will show you actually how to fix mistakes like those ones. So the first mistake is saying you live here, you live here, instead of just saying, do you live here? So if you know in Rwanda, sometimes we will say, you will tell someone, ubahano. For example, when let's say affirmative sentence, you say, ubahano. But when you're going to speak, you just change the tone only. You say, ubahano. So some people, they think also in English, that's how it's going to be. But that's not how it's going to be. In English, we need what we call helping verb. So in Kinyarwanda questions do not need helping verb. You simply change the tone. You say utuye hano. That's where you are. Nothing extra is added. Your brain learns this rule very early in life. It's not, but that's not how it is in English. We don't say utuye hano, utuye hano. Like when it's affirmative, it's totally different from asking a question. So, but when you speak in English, your brain follows the same law. It thinks I just need to change my voice and that's all. But that's not true. That's where it produces you live here. So many Rwandans they do the same mistake. Those ones who are starting, they do this mistake. They make this mistake. But English works differently. English questions are structural, not tonal. They don't base on your tone, they are structured. There is a structure for them to be made into. English needs a helper. That helper is do or does. When we are asking a question, always when you're asking a question, just remember that they need that one. The mistake comes from tone-based thinking instead of structure-based thinking. So to correct this, you must train your brain to hear questions with do. Always, every day. Do not think of rules, copy sound patterns. Always repeat these sentences more often, and this will help you to be remembering that whenever you are asking a question, you will need this do or that. For example, here you have some sentences that you're going to repeat, and also whenever you are asking questions or listening to people speaking, always just make sure you're listening to how they ask you questions. For example, here we have, do you live here? Do you live here? Do you work here? Do you work here? Do you understand me? Do you understand me? Okay. When you repeat those sentences more often or listen to these patterns, how these sentences are being built, this will help your brain to start expecting doing the questions. And when the sound becomes familiar, that do and lies, the mistakes will disappear, and you never even realize when it disappears. So do that. Always try to practice using do and does in sentences, and you will find yourself being able to speak without even thinking about it. So the second mistake is saying, I live not here. Hmm. Oh, I am not live here. That's a mistake many Rwandans they make. And in Rwanda, negation, when we are trying to say no, like when we are trying to make negative sentences, when we are making negative sentences, we simply add na. ntabwo, na, like that word. And the meaning becomes negative. And that is so easy. The verb does not change much when it comes to Kinyarwanda. So your brain learns that negation stays close to the verb, that they are still showed it's not wrong, and that's why it affects you. When you speak English, your brains try to put notes next to live, next to live, so that it can be short. That is why you say live not. Okay. That's why you will say, but in English, negation does not attach to the main verb. Yeah, because you have understood that the verb has to go with that no, because and if you say na, again the no verb. So when it comes to English, some people they will think, okay, no, they will think that no also has to go with the verb, but that's not how it is. For the for verbs in English, we use does not as a helper to say no, to have a sentence which is negative, not that's to actually say no. Like when you're saying no to no, that's actually how we use doesn't or don't. It attaches to a helper verb, and that helper is do or does. So English things like this: do not plus verb or doesn't plus verb, like doesn't plus a verb. The mistake comes from dialect negation transfer from Kinyarwanda. We think that verb always is attached to a word like a na. That shows that we are in negative form. So to collect it is stop thinking of not, think of the full negative sound. Repeat those full chunks, like saying, I don't live here. I don't live here. Repeat them. I don't live here. You repeat them more often, and that sound of a don't, doesn't comes in your mind whenever you are going to speak negative sounds. You will remember them. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know. So when you learn the word sound together, your brain stops separating note and the verb. The third mistake is saying I hungry. So just saying I'm hungry. In the Kinyarwanda, many states are expressed with one word. For example, saying ndashonje, ndishimye, ndarwaye. There is no separate word like am. So a word, it's just one word, and that one word it's okay, it's full. But in English, we need more than one word just to make a verb like that one, which we see as a one word in the Kinyarwanda. So your brain learns that feelings and states do not need an extra verb. It thinks that how states verb they don't need extra verb for them to be complete. They think like it's the same as in Kinyarwanda where we speak with one word. But that's not how it is in English. So when you speak in English, your brain removes am. It thinks it is necessary, but English requires the verb to be to connect the subject and the state. How you feel and who is feeling that subject and the feeling. That's where we need verb to be. Always is needed there when we are talking about the feeling. Iyo turi kuvuga ibyumvo umuntu afite buri gihe dukenera verb to be kugira ngo duhuze subject ndetse na feeling umuntu afite. So the mistakes comes from missing link thinking. The brain does not see that need of connector. But when you know that you need to connect them with that am and al or is, should be easy. So to collect this, group I am as one sound always. Collect this one, am. Stop just saying I alone. Just when you're talking about how you feel, say am. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Or you can say I'm tired. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm tired. I'm hungry. That way will help you to be able to remember them every time that you're going to speak them. Practice them more often when you're trying to speak about the feeling and use am instead of just saying I am. Just use am. Okay, as one sound. Do not say I alone. Say always am. This will train the brain and let you to believe and remember that always whenever it's going to say the one to use am. So the fourth mistake is saying, I want that you help me. In the Kinyarwanda sentences, often use connectors like ko, chakako, ko. Often this word ko it is used. The structure is flexible and long. So structure y'uburyo wabikoze iba iri flexible ariko iba ari ndende cyane. So your brain learns that I want must be followed always with that. So bivugwa ko mu bwonko bwawe buri gihe ubwonko bwumva ko want igomba gukurikirwa na that. But that's not how it is. In English, but in English prefers dialect action structures. Dialect action structures. English uses want you to. Want you to. I want you to. Not want that. I want that. I want you to collect me. I want you to be here. I want you to go there. So let's see some examples here. So the mistakes comes from Kinyarwanda sentences flow, which is longer and in dialect. To collect this, practice English action patterns. Repeat these ones. I want you to help me. I need you to come. I asked him to wait. You see this one? You main the action when it is followed by the verb. Remember, I want you to. I want you to help me. I want you to help me. I need you to come. I asked him to wait. That's it. That's how you will be speaking them. And it's going to be easy for you. So when your brain hears these patterns repeatedly, it stops inserting that. It takes it as it is in that way. Here is the most important truth. These mistakes do not disappear by learning grammar laws. They will know it. They will not. If you learn grammar laws, these mistakes will not disappear. They disappear when your brain hears and repeats correct English more often. When you speak more often, speaking the same sentence when it hears that more often, that collect patterns more often, that's when you'll be able to speak English well. But if you're not speaking it, if you're not practicing and making sure that your mouth is training to speak those sentences, it's going to be hard for you. So you have to train your brain. You have to train your brain. So that is why shadowing works. That's why I told you that already in the other past videos. That shadowing works. When you shadow English every day, your brain slowly stops using Kinyarwanda rules and starts using English rules automatically. You're not bad at English right now. What I may tell you is that your brain is just loyal to Kinyarwanda. It loves Kinyarwanda and it's loyal to it. So if you want to change the way you speak, make sure you do more shadowing. Train it gently, train your mind, train it daily. And if you do it, you'll be amazed on how you are going to change and become somebody different that you didn't think you can be. If you want more deep English lessons like this one, made specifically for Rwandans, like this video and also let me know if you need that video or those videos on my number, which is plus 250 0798010198, and I'll be able to reply to you and know that if you appreciate this lesson. And another thing that I'm gonna tell you, if you're not in my class, I usually teach them everything and explain even more deeply in this lesson. Please make sure you join our classes, and we are happy to support you. We are happy to have you there, and we are going to support you until you become fluent and speak English and speak English confidently. Just 90 days you'll be able to speak English very well. Now go and repeat collect English today. Repeat after them. Listen to native speakers. Repeat as as you listen to more English patterns and you're repeating after them. That's how you're going to speak English without making mistakes and feeling so easy, feeling so it's so simple. Go and do it, and you'll thank me later. See you in the next lesson. Bye.